Dangote Cement is Africa's leading cement producer with operations in 10 African countries and revenue in excess of $2.3 billion US. With expansion comes diversity in operational environment, cost of production, and consequently, variation in the pricing of the commodity. Two key instances will serve to illustrate the company's recent experiences in its bid to consolidate its hold on the African market. Well, joining us now to talk about it, in addition to what's happening with the long-awaited rollout of fertilizer from the company's multi-billion-dollar plant here in Lagos, and indeed its push to gain further stranglehold on the importation of petrol into Nigeria, is Edwin Devakumar, Group Executive Director, Strategy, Capital Projects, and Portfolio Development at Dangote Group. Welcome to the program, Mr. Devakumar. Good morning. Glad to have you again on the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
Well, before we go straight to the business of the day, let me, through you, congratulate Alhaji Aliko Dangote on the occasion of his 64th birthday. It was 64 on 10th April, and appropriately, justifiably, persons all over the world, and particularly within the Nigerian community, have been congratulating him on his great achievements, not necessarily because he's the richest African alive today, but also because of the contributions that he has made to different aspects of life and industry in Africa, also in Nigeria. His reputation as a philanthropist, his achievements, his talents, his genius as an innovator, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who has given opportunities to many Nigerians. And justifiably, again, I say, it is not an accident that is one of those few Nigerians who have been given the second highest honor in Nigeria, the Grand Commander of Nigeria. Well, we congratulate him through you. Please help us across our message. But now, to the business of the day. Now, there have been many stories in the papers. One of those stories is how cement produced by Alhaji Aliko Dangote in Nigeria is cheaper in Zambia and other countries than here in Nigeria. I mean, we've just talked about Alhaji Aliko Dangote, his patriotism. Why should we pay more for cement in Nigeria?
Well, yes, it's true. I've seen the news. But it's fortunate that it's the unreliable and the dishonest online news spreaders have been carrying this false information. We are very lucky in Nigeria that the mainstream news media, both the press as well as the television stations like you, have been careful enough not to spread such false and bogus information. We are grateful to you and the general press, the press in general. The cement price in Zambia is definitely not lower than the price of cement in Nigeria. Actually, I'm having an invoice holding here. I'll leave a copy with you at your station, which clearly specifies what is the price at which we are selling our cement in Zambia. The cement price is 131 kwacha per bag, and at 22 kwacha to $1, it is coming to $5.95 a bag, or $119 a ton. So, obviously, this information is false and incorrect. And also, I would like to avail this opportunity to see why we are trying to compare the price of cement between various countries. As you know, in every country we operate, we try to be the lowest priced company in the products in which we are dealing. And yet, we are comparing the price of cement in Nigeria with Zambia, and as I said, the information is incorrect. I'm having the invoice to prove that I'm right. But we don't compare the price of corn between Zambia and Nigeria. We don't compare the price of rice between Zambia and Nigeria, or that of PMS and AGO. You know that prices in different countries will differ based on different reasons. For example, where we are operating in some countries, we have the facility of getting hydroelectric power. Where we are operating in some countries, we have a proximity to coal. So our cost of production could be different. But to rebut the point, our price in Zambia is definitely not lower than our cement price in Nigeria.
And that's good to know, Mr. Devakumar. We hear you loud and clear about Zambia, but it will be remiss of me not to draw to your attention, as I'm sure you're aware, that similar reports are floating around about Ghana, that Dangote Group exports cement to Ghana and sells it cheaper in Ghana. Can you address that specifically as well?
Thank you again. Again, as I said, we are very grateful that the reliable press in Nigeria and the television media have not picked up again this false information. To begin with, we used to export cement from Nigeria to Ghana long back. It has been stopped a few years back, and we are importing cement to our cement terminal and selling it in Ghana. Again, I have with me an invoice of our Ghanaian price. It's an actual invoice, and I will leave a copy with you. The price of cement in Ghana is 41.9 CD per bag, and that comes to, at the current exchange rate of 5.78 to a dollar, it comes to $7.25 a bag or $145 a ton. So again, you can see that this is a fallacy, a false and wrong and incorrect information, maliciously spread just to paint us in black. And all of us know today the online news spreads around like wildfire. Anybody can write anything, and you cannot even identify the people behind to go and sue them for damages, so they can just write anything. I will leave the copies of these two invoices with you. Thank you.
But your competitors keep harping on the fact that they can bring down cement prices. And the last time you were here, this was a conversation we had, as regards bringing down cement prices. And your competitors keep saying, and one of your firmest competitors, they keep saying that you guys are the big elephant in the room as regards, cement prices in Nigeria. When will those prices come down, to be able to help the real estate sector?
Well, to begin with, this is a free market. The price of the same product is different from shop to shop. And till about 15 years back, I had a little bit of free time. I used to go to the market myself. For example, I used to go to Apapa market, and if I want to buy tomatoes, I'll go shop to shop, and you'll see the price different in the same market between shops. So any commodity, the prices could be different between different players. And as such, if we are all selling the cement at the same price, which means there is a cartel, and we are fixing the price together, so the prices are different. And so any player has the right to go and sell the cement at any price. It is not enough for somebody to sit and announce, yes, the price can be dropped. They have the right to go and drop it. And they have the liberty to do so. And I will give you one example. In December 2015, we went and dropped the cement price by 40%.
Well, Mr. Devakumar?
Yeah?
Yeah, on that note, we need to take a short break. When we return, we'll come back to you. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. It's The Morning Show here on Arise News. Welcome back to The Morning Show here on the Arise News channel. Our guest is still Edwin Devakumar, Group Executive Director, Strategy, Capital Projects and Portfolio Development at Dangote Group. Mr. Devakumar, thank you for staying with us. You were talking about free market in terms of cement prices. I'd like you to conclude your thoughts and then go for that to tell us about how relatively the price of cement has in fact increased. 2-3 years ago, it was cheaper. Today, we're told it's about 3,500 per bag. Some people say it's higher. So what is the exact price per bag of cement in Nigeria? And what is the effect, the impact on construction activities in the country? Because the construction sector is also very important.
Yeah. To go back to where I stopped, in December 2015, we dropped the price of cement by 40%. We didn't go around talking about dropping price in cement. We didn't say that if our competitors drop the price, we will drop. We went ahead and dropped. And at the end of the day, what happened was we dropped the prices, and we were accused for dropping the price so drastically? These are information available in the public media. You can go and check, because one of our competitors has been a publicly listed company for a long time, and you can go and see their results. Their EBITDA margin was 25%. So when we dropped the price by 40%, because we are the most cost-efficient producers here, so we could afford to drop the price. So when we dropped the price by 40%, their EBITDA margin was 25%, so their margins got completely wiped out. So they were likely to get into the red. So all the media accused us that we are trying to eliminate our competition by dropping the price drastically. That we are trying to be monopolistic, we are trying to take out our competition and dominate the market. So ultimately, I had to go into the television media, I still recall, and sitting and defending this issue. And then, because we are being accused of wiping out competition, we had to roll back our price gradually. So when we dropped the price, this was the reaction in the market at that time. And coming back to our prices today, we are selling our cement at 2,450 naira ex-factory from Obajana, from Boko. And our price ex-factory at Ibeshe is 2,510. It is about 60 naira more. That is because the cost of production in Ibeshe is high, because the limestone has a very high moisture. So the drying out process takes a lot of additional heat and additional power, energy. So it is about 60 naira more expensive, 2,510. Otherwise, our biggest producer, Obajana, is 2,450. Boko is the same, 2,450. And if you take today's parallel market rate of 485, the price comes to today $101 a ton. And even if you take the price of, for example, last week, even as on Friday, this Friday, I bought the setback for the visas. We paid to immigration at a rate of 412 naira 50 kobo. That is the rate at which they sell the resident permits. Even at 412.5, it is $118. So the cement price today is relatively, we saw the price in Ghana, we saw the price in Zambia, you see the prices in West Africa, relatively the cement price is low, number one. Number two, you are talking about the retail market prices being a little bit higher. If you see the situation, this is not today's situation. I'll take you back into history. I came to Nigeria to join Dangote Group 30 years back. 30 years back when I came in, we started constructing a project in Kano. So I said, okay, let's go and buy cement. I want to buy directly from the factory because my requirement will be large. They said, yes, you can buy from Ashaka, which is nearest to Kano. I was asked to pay the full money up front, and they said the waiting period is 5 to 6 months before I can collect my cement, which is what I did, and I was continuously doing. We used to pay, wait 5 to 6 months. But for my immediate requirement, I'll go to the market. And obviously, the dealers were selling the same cement at a premium. This is 30 years back, 5 to 6 months waiting time after paying your full money up front. Now, I'll try to slightly roll you back to what was happening 20 years back. That was the time when we ourselves started a cement terminal, and we were operating along with other cement terminal operators and also the local producer. At that time, the cement price, we were selling at $200 a ton. And the waiting period was 3 months. And we had to pay minimum 300 trucks. I can produce you from my record from December 2000 when we started selling cement. And this is the same thing with our competitors too. You have to pay for $300 up front, wait for 3 months, and 300 trucks you have to pay up front, wait for 3 months, and $200 a ton. And again, obviously, if you want to go and buy the cement in the market, immediately, the retailers were selling at a much higher premium. The prices were much higher than the $200 at which we were selling the cement. And So this is a history. 30 years back, I told what it was. 20 years back, I told it what it was. And it's the same thing today. When there is what was the price of rice just before Christmas and after New Year? The prices dropped. So when there is an immediate sudden demand going up, the market prices goes up, and the retailers the distributors and the retailers would like to take advantage of the market situation. That is their business, and that is what it happens. And as I said, this has happened 30 years back, 20 years back, and today. So the price difference between the retail price and the ex-factory price is not is a market mechanism which happens all the time. And coming back to our own price, we still sell our cement at our ex-factory price. Anyone can come, book, pay, and collect the cement. And for example, I can even give you an example where there was a demand from certain state governments for their projects. In Kaduna, we went and delivered the cement at 2,700 a bag. Then there was a demand from Borno State. You can imagine taking the cement all the way to Maiduguri, how much the transportation will cost. Still, we went and sold it to the government at 2,700 a bag at Maiduguri. So it is not that the price, we are selling at a higher price. As I said, at a parallel market rate, today it's $101 a ton. But it is the market mechanism where the retailers will always sell at a higher price if the demand is exceeding the supply. But then coming back to the situation, as I said, the cement was selling at $200 a ton, and you had to wait for 3 months. Before that, you had to wait for even 5 to 6 months. Today, the scenario is changed. You can pay and collect within a week or within a few days. So the situation has changed a lot totally compared to what it was. And the price from $200 a ton, as I was explaining, it is almost $101 a ton. So what have we achieved? By going for backward integration, introduced the plan which was introduced by His Excellency President Obasanjo at that time, the manufacturing capacities have increased in a very huge way. And with these capacities, the prices have dropped from $200 to $101 a ton. And we are a predominant player in the market. And we are one of the driving force behind producing large volume of cement and driving down these prices. So after driving down the price to almost half of what it was, yet we are being accused of selling cement at a higher price or profiteering. Is that makes any sense? And imagine a product which was selling at $200 a ton 20 years back being sold at half the price today. You buy things, everything day to day. From toothpaste to anything which you use daily. The dress which you wear, the shoes which you wear. Tell me which item the price has dropped to half in Nigeria of what it was selling in the year 2000. In 20 years, every price has gone up and nothing has dropped by half. And yet, we are being accused of profiteering or selling at a higher price. Then let me also give you another example. We have only 60% of the market share. There are other cement players producing 40% of the market. So why, when it comes to cement, why only we are being targeted? As I said, it is now what is happening is there are some detractors who are interested in trying to malign our name, and they are not backing up their argument with facts and figures, as I am producing now. I produce the invoice of our Zambian price. I produce the invoice of our cement price in Ghana. And I'm telling you at what price it was, the cement was selling 20 years back and what was the waiting time. I'm telling you what was the cement price 30 years back and what was the waiting time. So we are backing up our position by facts and figures which can be checked anywhere. So it is very inappropriate for someone to come and say, oh, cement is selling at a higher price and it is Dangote, which is not fair. And there is one more question which you asked. What was going to be the impact of these prices on the construction sector? Which is very important. It's a very valid question, because construction sector is also a large employer of people. So that sector, how it is going to be operating if the prices go up. But construction sector doesn't use only cement. And to begin with, coming to cement, I have justified and I have shown with facts and figures how the cement prices have, in reality, in dollar terms, have gone to half of what it was. But come to other items, locally manufactured items or locally produced items. Take the price of sand. It has gone up by 50% in the last 6 months, from 3,000 naira to 4,500 naira. And sand is a key ingredient in construction. Then the coarse aggregate, the gravel, which is used in producing concrete. The prices have gone up by 120%. It has gone up from 1,900 to 4,200 in the last 15 months, when we have kept our prices same. And the price of rebars has gone up by 95%, from 223,000 to 435,000. And the price of tiles has gone up by 100%. Tiles 100%, rebars 95%, aggregate 120%, sand 50%. So the price of each of these ingredients for construction has gone up very substantially and very steeply. Whereas the price of cement, we are selling at the same price at which, in naira terms, at which we are selling in December 2019. In the last 15 to 16 months, we have not increased the price by 1 kobo. And you all know what is the effect of foreign exchange crash during this period. So in naira terms, we have not changed the price in the last 15, 16 months. And in dollar terms, the prices have gone down very substantially. And whereas all the other construction materials, the prices have gone up.
Well, point well made, Mr. Devakumar. We'll need to take another short commercial break, and then we'll come back to you. Please stay with us. The conversation will continue. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We're still with Edwin Devakumar, Group Executive Director, Strategy, Capital Projects and Portfolio Development at Dangote Group. Mr. Devakumar, before the break, you did mention the ex-factory price, but for the sake of emphasis, I'd like you to go over that again. What exactly is the ex-factory price at which you sell to your distributors? And then what about the profit margins between wholesalers and retailers? Let's stress that point. And also, I'd like to talk to you, since we're addressing all the allegations, another allegation that's been made is with regard to Dangote Sugar Refinery. And there have been allegations by one of your competitors of an attempt to create a sugar scarcity and price fixing. Do you care to comment on that?
Okay. To give you a further clarification, the difference in ex-factory price, as you said, and the price between the retail market. The ex-factory price is the price at which we sell the cement to anyone who comes to our factory to buy the cement. But then there is a very major element between the ex-factory price and the retailer's price. The biggest cost element is the transportation. As you are all aware, there are very limited number of trucks available in Nigeria, and especially, I'm sure you have even addressed this in your television station, and in the main press has been addressing this issue, how the transportation cost has been impacted because of the challenges at the port. So because of the challenges at the port, the transporters started hiking up the price. So when they started hiking up the price, there has been a general upward movement in the price of transportation. So the transportation price between one location to another, even when you take from, say, Obajana to Maiduguri or Obajana to Kaduna, though it has nothing to do with the port, because of the pressure in the port and because of the most of the trucks getting locked up in the port for several days or several weeks together, it has shrunk the availability of trucks in the market, which has driven up the price of transportation. And then there is an element of diesel prices. And so shortage of trucks, because most of the trucks are getting blocked in the port, the diesel prices going up, and even the VAT has gone up over this last 15 months. So all this put together has an impact on the retail market. So primarily it's the cost of transportation. Yes, the dealers' profits are there, and especially when there is a supply and demand gap. As you know, as I also tried to mention last time, in the last 8-9 months, the cement demand has surged by 40%. We had a plant in Boko, which was idle for almost 4.5 years. We have reactivated the plant and we are producing full. We have added up one more cement line in Obajana, and we are adding another cement line at Uppela very shortly. So the same thing with other manufacturers. They are also trying to push more cement into the market. We are trying to meet the sudden surge. The surge has happened because when the interest rates dropped, immediately people were trying to look for other avenues to invest. And with the exchange rate being highly unstable, people felt that if we invest in the real estate sector, especially the housing sector, it is going to protect their money from getting depreciated in dollar terms, and it will also give a better return. So a lot of cash started flowing into the construction sector. So it created a sudden surge in demand. So the demand went up. So there is a little bit of extra margins being made by the retailers, which I explained how it has been from the 30 years or 20 years past history. And the critical element is the transportation. With the shortage of trucks, the prices of transportation has gone up through the roof. So that has made a key impact on the retail prices of cement. And you also touched about...
Dr. Devakumar, specifically, what is the ex-factory price, specifically?
2,450 ex-factory Obajana,
okay.
2,450 ex-factory Boko, and 2,510 ex-factory Beshe.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So make the points on sugar.
Yeah. I wouldn't like to go into detail because the matter is sub judice. You know that one of the parties to the issue has taken the ministry to court. But to just give an overall picture, to begin with, I explained to you how the prices of cement in dollar terms has come down from 200 to almost 101, almost half the price in 20 years because of the encouragement into backward integration. And the same thing is being tried today by the current government on sugar. When we started our cement terminal, we made investments. We had to make huge investments in ship loaders, in belt conveyors, bucket elevators, and packing plants, automatic truck loaders. We made huge investments. And it also helped the local producers of bags to sell their products. But it was only an intermediate stage. We just were bringing in bulk cement and then packaging it and selling it, as most of the people are doing today in other items. But then we went for the full-fledged backward integration, which helped to bring down the prices today. And in fact, I will like to touch one more issue on this cement. If that backward integration had not been there, you can imagine today, if we are still continue to be like where we were, either the number 1 or number 2 importers of cement in the world, with this today's port congestion, how much of cement would have come into the country? What would have been the price? So that backward integration not only helped us to help the country to bring down the prices to this extent, not only help the country to have substantial investment in employment generation, but also to ensure that adequate cement is available in the market. Even when there is a 40% surge in demand, we are able to continue to keep pushing up our production. The same thing is being attempted by the present government in sugar. We have made substantial investment, not only us, also our competitors, in the sugar refining business. But still, the raw sugar has to be brought in from outside. So the government is trying to say, why don't we go for 100% sugar production locally from sugarcane? We have already gone and we have invested in Savannah Sugar. We are producing locally to some extent, and we have just finished our first expansion, and the second expansion we are starting. And we have also invested in Nasarawa Sugar. We have already started the cane plantation development. One of our competitors too have already invested in sugarcane development. They have also invested in the sugar mills. They are also crushing locally. So this is a good development. But there are other competitors who are trying to say that they have made investments, but so far, yes, they have bought land, but they are trying to develop. Yes, we are not trying to attribute motives to anybody, but they are also not so happy about this process. But that is a key focus of the current government to ensure that investments are made in agriculture, sugar is grown locally, and employment is generated locally, foreign exchange is saved.
Okay, Mr. Devakumar, I'm told, well, I was going to ask you, somebody has been sending me WhatsApp messages. It says 69% of Dangote Cement's 2020 revenue came from Nigeria. The remaining 31% came from Pan-Africa. Can you confirm that? And then he also asks, he says, with the ongoing dialogue between government and labor over the cost of fuel, are you saying transport prices will go up further if the federal government eliminates fuel subsidies? And if that happens, does that mean cement prices will climb further? We'll take a short break. When we return, you'll respond to those questions from one of our viewers. We'll be right back. Mr. Devakumar is still with us. Welcome back to the morning show here on the Arise News channel. Edwin Devakumar is still our guest. He's Group Executive Director of Strategy, Capital Projects, and Portfolio Development at Dangote Group. Well, Mr. Devakumar, we've talked about cement, we've talked about the sugar war, we've talked about free market, and a lot of issues. Just before we went on break, I was reading to you an intervention by one of our viewers who was asking the question about revenue, Dangote Group revenue, Dangote Cement specifically. He says 69% of Dangote Cement's 2020 revenue came from Nigeria. The remaining 31% from Pan-Africa. I wanted you to clarify that. And he said, with the ongoing dialogue between government and labor over fuel, the cost of fuel, are you saying transport prices will go up further if the federal government eliminates subsidies? That's in response to a point you made earlier. And if that happens, does that mean cement prices will also go up?
Okay, to come back to answer your question, in Nigeria, our current production capacity is 31 million tons, and it is going to go up to 34 million tons shortly. So, obviously, our production capacity in Nigeria is almost 2/3 or even more of our total global capacity. So, the revenues coming in will obviously will be in a similar proportion. So, that is to answer your first question. Coming back to your second question regarding the impact of the deregulation on the transportation price and on its impact on the cement price. As you are aware, the deregulation which we are talking about is on the price of PMS. The diesel has been totally deregulated. Anyone can import diesel, and it is not subsidized. So it will not have any negative impact on this transportation cost. The only thing which can impact the price of diesel today will be the foreign exchange rates and the crude oil prices. The crude oil prices go up, obviously the diesel price will go up. If the foreign exchange rate currency weakens further, it will have an impact. And also on the positive side, the government is making a lot of efforts to decongest the port. So if all these thousands of trucks getting blocked at the port for weeks together gets released, there will be more supply of trucks into the market. We talked about how the supply and demand, the sudden surge in demand of cement has had an impact on the retail market. The same way, if the sudden increase in the supply of trucks would also have a dampening effect on the transportation costs. So these are the two sides of the coin.
So I have another question from a viewer, and he says, Dangote Cement is the biggest company on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, yet Nigeria has a housing deficit of over 17 million units. What are your thoughts on how we close that gap? If I may add to that, it's not just cement that's skyrocketing in price, iron bars, plywood, but the part that concerns you, what can we do to close that gap?
See, currently we are into the production of cement. So obviously our primary focus is how to manage the price of the cement, which is what we are focusing upon. And the other items, as I said, tiles are producing locally, sand is mined locally, aggregate is quarried locally, and rebars to a large extent are manufactured locally. But if you look at the same situation, I said in 15 to 16 months, our price of cement has not increased by 1 kobo, and in dollar terms, our prices have come down. But at the same time, every single item, from pure water to toilet roll, to locally produced vegetables and locally produced rice, the prices have been going up. So it is an issue where the government and the people together have to focus and address upon, because there are issues where it is affected by the foreign exchange and where it is affected by other factors. But there are issues also where, like a locally grown vegetable, why the price of tomato or onion should go up. So there are several issues which is playing into the market. So when you talk about, as you rightly mentioned, the price of plywood has gone up, which is a key ingredient for construction. So these are issues where I think the government is already focused upon and they are trying to address, but it is critical to all of us, both for the various sectors of business and also construction.
All right, 2 quick questions. Number one, I'd like to talk about the fertilizer plant. What's happening to that? We've not heard anything. It was supposed to start soon. What's happening to that? And secondly, there's also been, because it's a day of reactions, like we pointed out, there's also been news about the group's taxes, Dangote Group taxes. Can you shed some light on that subject too?
Okay, first I'll talk about the taxes and then I'll come back to the issue of the fertilizer.
Yeah.
In the last year, between Dangote Cement, Dangote Sugar, and our other member group companies, we have paid close to 115 billion naira in taxes. 115 billion naira in taxes. If you look at the situation in the market today, we have paid taxes higher than any of the banks, higher than the telecom companies. So we are one of the highest taxpayers in the country. And we pray that our taxes will be paying a larger amount of tax the next year. That is in our interest and that is our prayer. And also in terms of employment, we are the largest employer of people in Nigeria, second only to government. So we are a very large employer. We are one of the highest taxpayers in the country.
How many people do you employ in the country?
If you look at the direct employment alone, it is much higher than 70,000. The 70,000 was the last count. If you look at indirect employment, even if you take a very, very basic factor of 1 to 10, it goes to 700,000. And it will be much, much higher. So we generate employment, we pay a very high amount of tax. Coming back to, and so we are a socially and we are a very responsible corporate citizen. And you can see, compared to other manufacturers, how much taxes we are paying and how much we are paying. It shows how conscious we are to pay what is due to the government is paid fully. Number two, you talked about the fertilizer. And as we are talking now, the fertilizer is being produced, urea is being produced right now in our fertilizer plants. We are in the trial production. We have commissioned a plant. We are producing it on the trial stage. The quality is being tested, and the samples are being sent to SON, to NAFDAC for approval. Once the approval comes, we will start bagging the urea and put it to the market. So there are, as we said, we have a huge capacity. We have a 3 million ton per annum capacity. The first train is being commissioned, and the second train, the commissioning has started.
Well, Mr. Devakumar, quickly, I would like you to give us an update on the status of the Dangote Refinery. A lot of talk about the Dangote Refinery and how the 650,000 barrels per day would help to, make life better for the average Nigerian consumer of petrol. And secondly, there is something else that we may talk about later on this program this morning, which is the Dangote Puju automobile company. Where are we with that? There's the expectation that at some point that a company will produce the first Puju car after the collapse of Puju automobile of Nigeria. What is the situation in these two regards? The refinery and the DPAN, as it is known.
Coming to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, our target is to achieve mechanical completion by December this year and start the commissioning of the refinery January next year. So, talking about the benefits, how it's going to benefit the country, the people. To begin with, the product quality will be Euro 5, which is the best quality around the world. Globally, they have been migrating to Euro 5. Most of the American refineries and the European refineries have already 100% shifted to Euro 5. And those who have not been able to shift to Euro 5, they are exporting those products to the rest of the world today. But in our company, the 100% of the production will be Euro 5 grade. So you will get the best quality product with the least polluting product in the world. So you will get the best quality. Number two, the quantity. Our refinery can feed 100% of the requirements of PMS, AGO, DPK, and aviation jet. All the four products, petroleum products consumed in the country, we can meet 100% of the requirements, and in each of the products, we will have substantial quantity available for export. So one is meet the local requirement. Number two, generate foreign exchange by exporting. Number three, as you know, the US used to be the largest market for the Nigerian crude. Then the US started producing light tight oil. It has expanded its their local production. Today, the import of Nigerian crude into US is almost nothing, whereas they are exporting a similar crude to other countries in the world, even as far as India. So we have not only lost our primary market, but we are also finding tough competition from US. So the Nigeria will be able to have a ready market for its crude, almost 1/3 of its production, or more than 25% of its production can be sold to our refinery. So the country finds a ready market. The country will have the best quality products. The country will have 100% locally produced product. So there will be no waiting time. There will be no shortages in supply, as we find sometimes. Sometimes there is panic in the market. Oh, the Christmas is coming. There may not be enough product in the market, and people rush. So there will be a continuous supply of the product. And it will have a huge impact on the foreign exchange. As you know, the Naira has been continuously sliding over the past several decades. But now, this may have one of the biggest area where the foreign exchange gets drained in importation of fuel. So the country will have an opportunity probably to also have stability in the foreign exchange because the products could be produced locally. So there are several advantages which the country is going to derive by the local production, apart from the employment generation and the related benefits. And the second question you asked is about the tie-up between Puju Automobiles and us. You know, we went into automobile production to begin with on a truck manufacturing, a truck assembly line plant. We have set up a truck assembly line plant in Nigeria, and we bring CKD kits and we assemble the trucks locally. So that has been going on for quite some time, and it has been doing quite well. We have been selling a large amount of trucks into the local market. But now, then we thought that, okay, probably why don't we also get into automobiles? That is an opportunity. But you're also aware recently the government has bridged the, sort of dropped the duties on the imported vehicles. So when the duty on the imported vehicle is dropped, when the margin between the locally assembled vehicles and the imported vehicles become very narrow, we are trying to reappraise the situation, how it is going to have an impact on our cost of production, how we can be moving forward, especially with the competition coming from the Chinese automobiles. So it is under evaluation.
Well, Mr. Devakumar, on that note, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show. We'll have wished to continue with the conversation, but I think we've covered quite a number of issues. Thank you very much indeed.